reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Hey, so you got Elon Musk, you know, the owner and creator of Tesla. You know what I'm saying? The brains and the finance behind the operation. Elon Musk has actually officially closed the deal and purchased Twitter for $44 billion. Elon Musk is sometimes considered the richest person in the world. And so 44 billion, you know, he got it. Now, one of the first things he did was actually fire the CEO and the CFO, which I guess on some level you can expect with the regime change. May not be anything malicious. However, the people that work for Twitter are afraid that he's going to slash the workforce by 75%. Some people are also afraid that he's going to reinstate Donald Trump's Twitter account. You know, he changed, Elon Musk changed his Twitter bio to Chief Twit and said that, you know, Twitter is a free bird out the cage. You know what I mean? Now, I for one had a petition out to actually get Donald Trump off Twitter. So Elon Musk, I don't approve of it. At the end of the day, Twitter had rules, and Donald Trump broke those rules over and over and over again, and it caused catastrophic changes in the safety of some of his co-workers, you know, some Congress members. It actually put the lives of our troops in danger, and it had negative effects on the economy and the stock market just from him recklessly putting out tweets. And that's assuming that we think it's from him. His tweets have called for hatred. His tweets have actually called for violence. You know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't even took the January 6th situation, which is pretty much what sparked him getting removed from Twitter. It shouldn't have even took that, because that's not the only riots he started. You know what I'm saying? Green War and graduation though. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Jersey, you know, that's Black Fox News' home state. You got U.S. Senator Bob Menendez. This is somebody who's a Democrat. He's on the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's actually been handed a subpoena along with dozens of others by federal prosecutors for this wide range investigation. And NBC News actually reported on this, saying that, you know, it has also included in this subpoena, also recipient of the subpoena is an Egyptian authorized company that certifies exports of halal food worldwide. So this isn't Menendez's first corruption charge. I mean, back in 2017, he had one dropped because the jury couldn't come to a verdict, but it was dropped. It was brought to him because he was accused of corruption, basically of peddling influence for an ophthalmologist in exchange for a six-figure campaign contribution, luxury stay hotels, and first-class flights. You know what I mean? Green War and graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So this past Thursday, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention actually released a report saying that communities of color are receiving less treatment for for COVID-19. You know what I'm saying? Coronavirus disease 2019, that Rona, far less than their white counterparts. You had this study that they released on Thursday saying that Black and Latino people receive their drug Paxlovid, Paxlovid, which actually helps treat COVID. They received it over 30% less than white recipients, even though people in community of color are more likely to be hospitalized from COVID-19. And I'm gonna say this, a lot of this has to do with disease, you know what I'm saying, and the things that y'all are putting into your body. So fix that up. Coronavirus is on the rise for the first time since July. Green War and graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you check out thegraduationparty.org to get yourself or a loved one some high quality math tutoring. It's also very affordable and highly accessible, as you go on the line and can instantaneously have a video chat tutoring session with a math expert like myself or other qualified tutors. Now, moving on to the news, over in Uganda, they're actually experiencing an Ebola outbreak that has since September seen 100 confirmed infections and 30 people deceased from Ebola. This ain't that COVID-19 sweet shit that niggas been dealing with over the past few years. This is that Ebola shit from the mid 2010s, you know what I mean? It catches bodies out here at very high rates. So keep in mind that this recent outbreak happened in the capital of Uganda, Kampala, where actually over a dozen people have tested positive, 6 of them being school children. Green Wall and Graduation. Stay woke. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Mexico, the states of Guerrero and Tamaulipas actually have recently passed marriage equality, basically making it legal for same-sex couples to be married in those states. So now officially, for the first time in history in Mexico, across all 32 states, same-sex marriage is legal. Green Wall and Graduation. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Brazil, you actually have a new president of the country with former union leader, formerly incarcerated on trumped-up corruption charges by his opposition, Luis Inácio Lula da Silva. At 77 years old, he will again become the president. Last time he was the president, then he lost the election. People said it was like, something shady about that. And then he was later jailed. A decision that was and the judge that banged the gavel on that decision actually was connected to the far-right president that replaced him, Jair Bolsonaro. Now, Bolsonaro has actually been showing a lot of disbelief in the outcome of the election, and has yet to concede to it, as well as his allies have yet to concede to it. So there's a lot of fear that he's planning a coup, pulling a Trump card, you know what I'm saying? Pun intended. Now this actually is, you had his son, Bolsonaro's son, who's actually a state senator for Rio de Janeiro, Flavio Bolsonaro, saying that this is the greatest electoral fraud ever seen. And this is before the results had even came in this past Sunday. So you actually have, and at the same time, you had somebody connected to Bolsonaro, Roberto Jefferson, who was actually arrested by federal police the Sunday before yesterday, and had ended up attacking a federal police with a rifle and a grenade. So there's a lot of fear that the far right is actually going to come with essentially a coup. But the Silva, this is actually somebody that's pro-environmentalist. He's pro-indigenous, him being indigenous himself. And Bolsonaro is somebody who's seen as having had an awful response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and had actually almost encouraged the deforestation that was happening in the Amazon, which is also known as the Earth's lung. The foresters that are out there actually have been said to be connected to Bolsonaro. So this is something that's going on. It's going to be a major shift, possibly, in the direction of the country of Brazil. So that's if a coup doesn't happen. We'll see how this all turns out. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So this past Saturday, for Halloween festivities out there in South Korea, in Seoul, S-E-O-U-L, is the capital of South Korea, in the Itaewon neighborhood, or Itaewood is how it's spelled. You had what was said to be 100,000 people out there for Halloween festivities, and then there was a crowd surge, and then people started panicking. 150 people so far are said to have died from just the crowd and being there, just being too many people trying to party. And this is a neighborhood where it typically has a nightlife, but all of those people packed into what was said to be a narrow alleyway led to the death of over 100 people. And you have the government right now, people are blaming the government and saying that there being little to no security over there. There wasn't enough oversight or whatever, but I don't think you want government all in your party. But nevertheless, that was still that's still being investigated by the president, ordering the government to actually look into the security measures in that zone. Green Wall and Graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Ukraine, you still got Russia actually pummeling the country, as it looks like from the outside. And if you let Russia tell it, they're getting attacked by Ukraine, as they said when it came to them deciding to back out of the United Nations deal that would allow Ukrainian ships to export grains to the entire world. Them backing out the deal has the United Nations warning everybody that this could actually cause food prices to soar. You know what I'm saying? Energy prices to soar. And despite that, though, Ukraine still was able to get out like 12 ships on today. And outside of that, though, moving on, you had Russia actually continuing to attack and launch missile strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Just last Thursday, you have Volodymyr Zelensky like reporting from a town that was darkened, actually in a blackout from one of these attacks, saying that Ukraine should actually expect more attacks like this and expect some extended power outages due to these attacks. In that same address, he also talked about how Iranian drones have been found, and it's not my first time reporting this, but Iranian drones were actually found to have been used, and that 300 of them have actually been shot out of the sky by Ukraine. And in total, since February, he said that Russia has launched 8,000 airstrikes and 4,000 missile strikes. So in the past, Iran has actually denied supplying Russia with drones. So is it a Ukrainian ploy to include Iran in this new World War III that's brewing, or is Ukraine talking facts? We will see. But the residents are reporting power outages all throughout Ukraine, and in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, the mayor actually said 80% of the residents are actually cut off from the water supply. Green War and Graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Brady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Box News report. So you actually had the Biden administration releasing its nuclear posture review for 2022, and you got anti-nuclear activists saying that this is going to do little to nothing to actually reduce the possibility of having a World War III catastrophic nuclear situation. Now, in this review, you do have the administration suggesting cutting some programs like this submarine nuclear cruise missile program that was started under former President Donald J. Trump. However, it's continuing with the so-called modernization plan, which actually aims to upgrade the United States' nuclear arsenal, which currently sits right now as holding 5,400 nuclear warheads. The Office of Congressional Budget actually said that these programs that are still going to be pushed for through the modernization plan actually will cost the United States $630 billion over the next decade. So a lot of people are calling for this shit to end, but listen, y'all. Let me tell y'all something, because y'all could reroute your energy to something else. Nobody's giving up their nuclear weapons. If you're in a room full of people with guns, are you gonna be there the only person are you gonna be the first person to be like, no, I'm gonna put my gun away? You know what I'm saying? Especially if you shot somebody in that room. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. And if you're in a room full of people and everybody has their guns, and you know somebody is in there and willing to shoot, you're not gonna give your guns up either. The analogies I'm making, you have to think about the United States bombing Hiroshima, Japan with nuclear weapons, and then you have to think about all these other countries that the United States tries to bully or coerce into giving up their nuclear weapons. It's just not happening. So get the fuck over it. Green War and Graduation.